Okay, let's move to Adi. Let's weigh in.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't really matter if it's Hamas or Fatah. I think we have to look at the bigger picture. It's not a coincidence that these events are march of return. It's not about the closure, it's not about independence or statehood, it's about the return. And we have to remember that the main goal of these people is to cross the border and to regain what they perceive as their ancestral land, which is the whole of the land from the river to the sea.
Well, they weren't in that, when they were going to cross the border, if they succeeded, they weren't exactly going to, they weren't coming with suitcases and going, to go to their homes in Ashkelon in the south of the country. It was a protest right there, wasn't it? What exactly was Israel supposed to do to stop thousands of people at the fence from crossing over? Isn't that exactly what any sovereign country would do if there were thousands of people trying to cross over?
Okay, let me please first relate to what he said. Okay, indeed they were protesting, but they didn't only demand the right of return. We are talking about people of Gaza who live in a large prison. They live in a ghetto, in a concentration camp where people die of hunger, of shortage of medicine, of shortage of food. 90% of the water in Gaza is undrinkable. 50% unemployment. 50%.
And now to the question about the crossing.
I'm coming to that. Only 4 hours of electricity a day. Can you imagine living with that?
Okay.
So they did indeed want to return. But at the point where they tried indeed to cross the border, was the solution to shoot, to kill? I mean, we've seen footage by the Israeli soldiers showing them killing people who were at a distance from them, and they were crying jubilantly after they killed each and every one of them.
You can react to that.
You could, sorry, just
go ahead, quickly.
So you could neutralize them by shooting them in the legs. Why killing by shooting in the head?
There's a question. Why not shoot in the legs? Why not use water cannons or more tear gas? In the West Bank, I've seen riots dispersed without necessarily using live ammunition, suddenly rubber bullets. Why is it like this, Adi?
Well, my expertise is not military, but I would like to answer to your question because you're right. It's a very good question. The situation in Gaza is obviously not great, but the question you have to ask yourself is why. By now, the Gaza Strip has received billions of dollars of aid, and the question is, why is it that the population of Gaza chooses to put its money into tunnels into Israel and not to build their schools, their homes, etc.?
I want you and Ruthi to answer basically the question that I asked you about how to stop people from crossing the border. Is live ammunition the only way?
If I were a Palestinian, I would certainly want Israel to use live ammunition on all my leaders and on all of Hamas members, because those people, the way you
That's not what I asked, though. I asked about the people at the fence.
But the people on the fence, the whole purpose of this was to use civilians to try to break through the fence, and then terrorists would go through the fence once it was broken through.
But wasn't there any other way to stop them from doing that?
Israel thwarted a whole group of us, a terrorist cell that was about to do that.
Why not shoot them in the legs? Why kill them?
Actually,
why a disabled guy was killed, although he was about a kilometer far from the soldiers. He was killed. He was shot in the head. He's disabled. He can't even cross. Why was he killed?
The truth is that I wasn't there, and therefore I don't know what kind of situation it is. It's a very menacing. It's a menacing situation.